Good morning, Spain. How lovely to have you with us once again here in our studio at Hard Rock Hotel Marbella. We're going to have a giggle today. We're going to start off talking about curious habits us Brits pick up when living abroad in Spain, the idiosyncrasies of the Spanish education system, the mistakes that newbies make when it comes to marketing a new business or project when living abroad. We're going to be traveling around Spain, but also to Transylvania and visiting Dracula. All this and more coming up. Good morning, girls.
Good morning.
Nice to be here with you all. And we thought we'd start off the program talking about things that we laugh about, things that we do that are very Spanglish, not necessarily what an English person would do, and not even necessarily fully Spanish. But we pick up these curious habits. For example, when I'm like, oof. They make these sounds.
So many.
and it means so much.
Yeah.
You know, if you're saying like, I went somewhere last night, what was it like? Like, oof.
Yeah, oof.
So what does that mean to you? Oof.
Busy. Very busy.
Oof. Very busy.
But could also be hot.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it could be kind of
hot.
crazy. Yeah, it could be hot. Yeah, just
A lot.
crazy.
Lots going on.
Yeah, mucho. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot. And then
Yeah.
one of the things that we laugh a lot here, and so it was like, yes, no. So should we go there? Yes, no, si, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, shouldn't we? Shall we?
Yeah.
Shan't we in English? But no, in Spanish it's just a simple yes, no.
That's a real common one, isn't it?
Another thing that's interesting, in English, two negatives make a positive. Not in Spanish. Two negatives are still a negative. And that's a tough one
Yes.
to get your head around.
Yeah.
Now, one that you may all felt recently, because I know you've all been travelling, do you all kiss people with the two cheeks when you meet people?
It's
This
weird,
is a hard one, isn't it?
It is. You sort of need to assess the situation and
Yeah.
how well you know them and predict how they're going to respond,
Yes.
whether you think they're likely to embrace the two kisses or go, whoa.
Yeah.
And after you've done one, if they, you know, and you're sort of there close, if they move away, then I'll let it be. But if they're still there, then I'll go in for the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I can often start with a handshake that then turns into a could be a hug,
Yes.
could be a kiss. How's everyone feeling?
Yeah.
Let's not go on the lips, but you know, and then it's a movement through
Yes,
cultures
exactly.
Yeah.
to possibly a two kiss.
Yeah.
Or with the Belgians and the Dutch, it's three.
They're three.
Yeah,
Then
three
that gets
kisses.
very confusing.
Yeah, I think we have to, I'm leaving it at two. But there's a trick to this. For example, to avoid kissing on the lips, the format is that you go first to your left.
Is it?
Oh,
So
Okay.
if you always go
Wow.
first to the left,
Right.
they're going to the left. So it's a left and a right. It's like there's actual rules like in
Do you
driving.
know what? I think I do that automatically, but I've
Yeah,
never
never
thought about
thought
it.
about it.
Yeah.
There's actually a system to it.
That's
First
really
to the left,
interesting.
then to the right, and that way
Yeah.
you avoid this head-on
Okay.
smack on
I
the
remember
lips.
when I first came, though, I just found it so weird. I knew in social situations, I was a bit of a drama person, so, you know, moi, darling. But then when I went to like business meetings and stuff, and you're kissing people, and I remember meeting the mayor of Marbella, and everyone's giving her two kisses, I'm thinking, this is weird.
Yeah.
I'm giving kisses to the mayor of Marbella, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just, that's the greeting. And so once you get over that, then to do anything else, it feels weird.
Yeah.
It's curious because once you're used to it, I
Absolutely.
automatically go up to somebody. I think, yes, in a business circle, perhaps it's the hand and you're gauging it, so it's the hand.
then the
Yeah.
And
lead
are
in.
you
Yeah.
going in? Oh,
Yeah.
well, where is it
Yeah.
going? Kind of. But
Yeah.
99%, even if it's the bank people, whoever, do you know what I mean? If
Yeah.
you're standing up, there will be
Yes.
this high.
Yeah.
And although sometimes it is a mwah, mwah,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's not like an actual hugging and kissing, but
Yeah.
you're giving them like the,
Yeah.
That's the
peripherals.
interesting thing, whether you actually make contact or not.
Yeah.
Whether you kiss their cheek or they kiss your cheek.
I think
I'm
it's
always-
more face to
cheek to
face.
cheek,
Yeah,
isn't
just
it?
like
Yeah.
a
It's
noise.
cheek to cheek,
Cheek to
yeah,
cheek.
mwah,
Yeah.
mwah. It's
Mwah,
a
mwah.
cheek to cheek
Yeah.
as opposed to lip. I don't think anyone
Yeah.
uses lips.
No.
No.
It is literally just like.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I know someone who does, and it feels
Oh,
quite
right.
strange.
Are they
Yeah.
foreign or
Really?
Spanish?
No, foreign.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because if they were Spanish, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
So as
Yeah.
a foreign person, we don't use lips.
No, definitely
There's
not.
no
No
lips
lips.
on this kissing.
It's
It
only when
literally
you
is-
come a bit hot and you kind of clash cheekbones.
Yes.
And you think, oh,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Yeah, exactly. But there's no lips involved. It really is just like it's like a brotherhood thing. It's really
Yeah.
I
It's
like
lovely.
it.
It's
It's a much
lovely.
more
Yeah.
tactile
Yeah.
place than the English, for example, with children. in the UK, kids are meant to leave home by 18. You don't hold hands after they're, 8? But not here.
Not
You can
here.
hold hands with your son at
Yeah.
15, 17, 20.
Oh, yeah.
And that
Yeah.
aspect
I
I like.
love
The
it.
hugging
Yeah.
of fathers and sons. It's not
Yeah.
handshaking.
Really nice.
Yeah.
I like it's a more tactile.
It's just closer, isn't it?
Yeah,
And I think
it's
you're right. That does come from that first greeting. That then you've just got a closeness, and you've just
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
that sort of touchy feely,
Bond.
nice
Yeah.
bond. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then another one I think is funny with us Brits coming over is our pints of warm, flat
Yeah.
beer.
No.
Oh gosh.
No. I think here the Cagna, which is a
Yes.
crisp little,
Yeah.
light, cool, bubbly beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny to see how some people really can't get their head around a
Yeah.
bubbly, cool beer.
Yeah,
know,
well, the
I
men,
know.
you know, the men that are used to going to pubs and drinking pints,
Yeah.
suddenly getting a small beer, they feel like it's a lady's drink. You know,
Yeah.
the women get the small drinks, the men get the big ones. But in Spain, when it's hot in the summer, you want the
Yeah.
small
Yeah, the
ones, and you
small.
drink more of them because they're so small. You get through them quickly.
But it makes sense in a hot country that
Yeah.
they want the beers fresh and they'd
Yeah,
rather
like
have more little ones
Exactly.
than having this stale, flat, warm
Yeah.
beer that we Brits tend to love.
Oh gosh.
How about everybody's approach to rain and how that affects our lives, people?
It's like, as you say, everyone goes into shutdown, doesn't it?
Isn't it? How many appointments have you had cancelled because it rains?
And we
So
there you
many.
go. Oof, it's raining.
Oof,
yes.
Oof. Couldn't possibly leave the house.
going
No,
out.
exactly.
Can you imagine back home us stopping working or going somewhere because it's raining?
Never get
Yeah,
anything
you
done.
would. No, you
No.
wouldn't, would you?
One of the
never
highlights
go
for me in September would be my mum taking me up to, it was up into the Sloane Square. There was that lovely department store
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And every year I'd go for my
Peter
new
Jones.
wellies,
Yes,
Peter Jones.
yes.
And she'd every year to Peter Jones for my new brolly, my new wellies.
Yeah.
I mean, all kit out for the rain. I mean, it was part of the highlight
Yeah.
of the season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And yet
it's so
here,
true.
even if it's raining, the traffic jam, because it's like they're watching the drops fall.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
up with that?
I know.
But also because no one can drive in the rain
Yeah.
as well, so accidents
the
happen.
accidents.
They're so not used to it. But it is very funny how
Yeah.
that can really affect.
Yeah.
So if it's
Definitely.
raining and people start cancelling on you,
Don't be
Yeah,
surprised.
don't be surprised. Yeah.
Even though we grew up with rain
Yeah.
in other parts of Europe, it doesn't take long to get used to not having
Exactly.
rain.
Yeah.
So I've been known to, not all the time, but to also not go out
Yeah.
because it's raining.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's not just something the Spanish do. When you move to Spain and get used to it not raining
Yeah.
so often, when it does rain, it's very easy to go, I'd rather not go out.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
wait
no,
for a sunny day.
exactly.
Because you know that that's
Exactly.
only a few days away, don't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
Although it's funny with my son's rugby team, every time it's raining, the Spanish parents, is training cancelled?
Yeah.
And now that's when the British is like, hell no, I train, I exercised in the rain, so can you, son,
But it's a whole
Yeah.
different philosophy of things that we're used to. Anyway, these are just some of the little things that you might have to embrace or not. There are people who don't embrace them at all, but a lot of us, I think, we pick it up without even realizing
you
it.
don't even think
It's
about
like,
it.
woof.
Yeah.
How can you not?
Make my day. Make my day.
Now we're going to talk about dates. Calendar dates, romantic dates, or Linda's type of dates, which includes all of the above, plus
All of them.
all of them, yes. Linda's good on dates.
I'm not sure if I am good on dates, but on these
You're
kind of dates, yes.
Yeah, and you're certainly a social butterfly. You've got a lot of busy dates. So
Yes.
that's,
Oh no, definitely busy days. That's true. That's true, definitely. So yeah, I thought I'd talk a little bit about dates. I mean, in Spain we have, so many date trees, and I thought I can start with like how, from the beginning of from the seed, how long it grows. So it grows. It takes like up to three months if you want to take the seed out of your date. I've actually done it, and it's kind of cute seeing like the little seeds coming out. Well, it looks like a little grub coming out of it. Actually, to start off, it looks like a little worm. But and then after that, it takes like about 7 or 8 months, and then for the tree to produce fruits, it takes between 7 and 8 years, or 4 to 8 years. And then with the fruits, they actually go through different stages, like 5 different stages. So after the pollination, it takes, you've got the stage of where it's just like green, so you can't take it straight from the tree at that point. Then it goes to like a red-yellow stage. So you can, if you want, take the fruit from the tree, but it's kind of like a tart apple. And then you've got the other stages where it goes into like a light brown, and then the dark brown. Now the dark brown is more what we know about, and that's taken from the tree when it's already matured. It's kind of fascinating. It takes 7 to 8 months to mature actually on the actual tree. And so we see
Like
it
a
more.
pregnancy.
It's like having a baby, love, having a baby, a real
Couple
baby.
moments. So then they take it off the tree, and to make it even sweeter, I mean, it's already sweet when you take it straight from the tree, but to make it even sweeter, then they do the drying process, and that could be with with the sunshine, big meshes. You can actually do it sort of like with a drying method. It depends on the kind of date. But and also you have to clean them. So you clean them either with like a little brush.
Wow, it's a lot of work to have a date, isn't it?
It is a lot of work to have a date.
Exactly. Hope it's worth it. We're going to find out.
And or the other way is like steaming them to like clean them as well, and makes the skin a little bit softer. So my favorite dates are these, which are
they're gorgeous.
the medjool dates. And what I like to do with these is I'll like take the stone out. That's the little seed or the stone that you can like grow your tree with. It's fun to do it at home. I kind of like those things. And then I like to stuff it with either a walnut or any kind of nuts. You can have with pistachios. I've got all sorts of nuts here. Or you can put like an almond butter in it, or you can put a pistachio butter in it. You can like coat it with like chocolate.
That
It's
sounds
all-
like perfect
Yeah, they're
little
delicious.
Christmassy
Yeah.
snacky things getting ready.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, that's one way of it. But for me, I'll just take it.
Boy's
just,
saying he wants one. You've never heard him talk before on the programme.
I'm not sure if he really.
No,
will
they're
be
not
good
allowed
with-
grapes and things, so I wouldn't think the dates would be
No,
on a dog's diet.
No, I doubt it. I mean, for me, if I'm like craving something sweet, then I'll go for a date, because I don't like to have like chocolate or sweets or sugary things or candies in my house. So, and then a date is so good for you. It has like so many benefits. So it's got lots of fiber, and it's actually really good for the digestion. Helps everything move through. It's actually good at removing toxins, so it tends to bind on toxins, and so then it helps to eliminate it, everything from heavy metals and other kind of toxins that you could probably have. It helps the liver to activate even better. Then it's good for skin, for the bones, for the hair, because it's got lots of antioxidants, it's got lots of nutrients. So yeah, I think dates is something that you should really put into your diet. And then I brought some other kind of things, like you've even got like dates syrups, you've got date vinegars, so you can like really mix dates into your everyday.
And all the benefits that go with it.
Yeah, no, totally. In fact, they say that you should have between 4 and 6 dates every day to get
Wow.
all the right nutrients. And
So instead of an apple a day, it's 4 to 5 dates a day. Keeps the doctor away.
definitely, yeah.
When you're in Spain, anyway. And the nice thing is, all those preparatives you're saying, you can do, or you can just go buy them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I suppose there's organic
Easier.
versions of, and all these things, where the different classes and qualities and what have you.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I like to get the medjool dates, but then I'll go for these kind of dates. They're all dropping off, because you can see them sort of on the stem. These are like a little bit harder, but then if I'm doing like a salad, then those are easier to put into a salad. You chop those up, and I like to mix it with celery and with apple, and that's kind of a nice little.
They're lovely in salads, actually.
Yeah.
You know, I use dates if I'm make milk. Let's say like have a milk machine, and to make it more sweet, I throw one of those Medjool dates in and blend it together, and it gives the milk like a sweet taste.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
lovely.
No, definitely. I mean, it's better to use the dates
Yeah.
as a sugar alternative,
Exactly.
because it's so much more beneficial. It's got all the nutrients, it's got all the antioxidants, it's got the fiber, it's got and it's good for sugar levels as well, balancing sugar levels.
Natural
So-
sugars.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Oh, definitely interesting. Fascinating. Go and get yourselves some dates. Actually, I like the idea of having one and planting the stone and doing that process.
Yeah.
Oh no, it is fun. I kind of like seeing it, how it grows. Yeah.
Let's try that.
Yes.
When you think of car or motorbike insurance, think Linear Director. When you most need your insurance company, Linear Director are there for you. With tow trucks, courtesy car, mechanics, legal advice, even overnight stay in a hotel if you need it. There's a whole department dedicated to us Brits with people who speak English there to help us.
if you're looking for an insurance policy that really takes all your needs into consideration whilst you're driving in Spain, then Linea Director really is the company for you. Why don't you give them a call?
952 14 78 34 or contact them online.
Make my day. Make my day.
Many people move to Spain and they are going to open a new business, or they have a project, or even working with a charity. Whatever we do that is to entice the public needs to be promoted. It needs to be marketed. And it's wonderful to have with us the marketing guru in Spain, the lovely Georgina Shaw, to give us some tips, because we do make some really big mistakes. And those of us who are in media, I think sometimes it's just horrifying to see how people are throwing money away because they haven't quite got the idea of how to do it. Georgina, what are some of the biggest mistakes that we make?
Well, Nicole, there are a lot. Let's just say there, we're gonna be scratching the surface right now. But I think probably starting from the very basics is the cultural understanding of the market that you are going into, and to understand that we come from our own nations and if things are not the same. So we have to be very clear about what it is. Even if we're marketing to our own nationality, they are different in Spain, because Spain is different and we've come there for a different purpose. So I think the first is people go, oh, well, this worked brilliantly in London or Stockholm or wherever, and I'm going to do exactly the same. And that is hugely wrong, because you are not talking to the same people with the same mindset. So I think the first thing is to understand your culture, do some market research, do your networking, ask around, do you think you need this, have you noticed, so that you are really marketing something that people want. That is for sure the
and that is a
first
good
one.
way actually of testing the waters, is joining networking groups. Because we've talked about this before, you can join 10 different types of groups. Maybe you don't connect with 9 of them, but there'll be one of them you do, and everywhere you learn something. And picking up on the mistakes people have made before you make them again is a big one. There's an opportunity there.
Huge.
It's better to wait a little bit. A lot of people don't do market research at all.
No.
They just see, oh, Spain, tourism, or an avenue that they've thought of something that no one else has thought of, and they just go with it without doing the market research.
Or even asking anyone. I mean, the Facebook groups that we have for expats in certain areas are a gold mine for information. You can ask questions on there, but you can also monitor, you know, the social listening side of things to see what are people asking about, what do they need. And then just not being arrogant, I think, and thinking I know everything because I've been a success before, let's say, and just saying, okay, I have had successes, I will bring the things that are important to me, my methodology, my work ethic, that's important, I think, to bring with you. But then be culturally sensitive. So I think another thing that you need to think about is that sort of build it and they will come mentality. Like, just because I think it's a good idea, and I create it, means that people will come to your business. So you definitely need to think about your marketing strategy and the longevity that you need to market when you're thinking about your costs and how much you're going to spend on your marketing campaign from the beginning.
How many companies have no marketing budget?
I find
so
it
many.
shocking, particularly with restaurants that do no social media, no marketing, no advertising on television, radio, magazines, all the different ways you can put yourself out there by spending money, or sometimes not. You can do a lot on social media without spending any money at all. And some people don't do it, and they open their restaurants. There's one near where I live, and there's a guy who's quite intimidating, who stands in the doorway like this, you know, literally going, where are my customers? Why is nobody coming in? And it's really, each time we walk past, we go, oh, no one in his restaurant again.
Surprise,
I mean, it's
surprise.
quite bizarre. And then 6 months later, they're closed, and you're like, oh, I wonder
Surprise,
why that
surprise.
happened. I mean,
But it is. Across Spain,
unbelievable.
the average life of a new business is 18 months.
Yeah.
From opening to ending. And a lot of it is because either they spent an enormous budget at the beginning in promotion and advertising and run out, and people think they've gone bankrupt or they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
Or they don't do any marketing whatsoever, or they're just unpleasant.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just don't feel like
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And the importance of longevity, as you were
Huge.
saying, is huge. The amount of people who do advertising for a month or 3 months and go, well, we haven't had any customers, you know,
They'll
as
say,
if it's the
"That
fault
doesn't
of
work then, does it?
yeah,
That didn't
as if it's the
work."
I
fault
can't-
of the outlet wherever
Yeah.
they've
I
gone
hear this
for their
all the
marketing.
time.
And
When
it's
people
like,
are talking
you
and they
need
say,
to
no,
be-
we did this, and no one came. It's like, no, the advertising or the marketing, more than anything, is to get brand awareness.
Yes.
And that people see that you're there, because the day that they do decide
Exactly.
to do something in your genre,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
name will come up.
Exactly.
It's
When
just
you're-
keeping you in
we
mind.
don't all need all services all the
Exactly.
time. You know,
Yeah.
at some point we'll need a lawyer for whatever it might be. And you'll go, oh, who was that lawyer that was always on Good Morning Spain or always
Exactly.
on the
Yeah.
particular radio station or whatever? And you'll remember and you'll go for that, because when people are consistent with their advertising or promotion, they're the names and the businesses that you remember when you need them. Exactly.
I think people don't realise that the sort of what you always say with marketing is people need 8 touches of your brand before it even registers. So that you need to keep reinforcing that message. I'm going out to your networking groups, and here I am, and I'm still here, and I'm still here. And I remember with the networking, it took me a year, and somebody said to me, "So you're still here, Georgina? Tell me now again what you do."
Oh, okay.
But it is
like
that
one
way.
year, boom,
Yeah.
okay.
Now I'm interested.
Now-
But it
now
is that
I'm
way.
interested.
Yeah.
There are so many scammers.
Yeah.
There's so many people who go to, whether it's Madrid, Barcelona, or Asturias, the Andalusia, I don't care where it is.
Wherever.
The foreigners
Yeah.
create a separate little infrastructure world, and people don't tend to trust that you will still be here in
Yep.
a year and a half, because statistics show
Yeah.
you probably
Probably
won't.
not.
Yeah,
Exactly.
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 I think that's what it is as well. I think like it, and also that it does take a lot of time and a lot of hard work as well, instead of like people just thinking, oh, you know, I'll put it out there and, you know, people will come to me.
Yeah.
But it is something that is like every single day. You
Yeah.
need to put the time in, you need to be networking, you need to be, as you say, looking at campaigns, different collaborations. So I think like that's a huge thing as
Yeah.
well, like you're saying, that it is a lot
Consistency
of
is
work.
key.
Yeah.
And the more
Budget
you-
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And the more you do that, the more likely you are to have personal recommendations,
Yeah.
which is pretty much the best advertising you can have as a
Yeah.
business. If you're looking to get your hair done or find a lawyer or a yoga instructor, it doesn't matter what the business is. If someone says to you, oh, you should use
Yeah,
this lady, she's
exactly.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Or, oh, my friend went to so-and-so, she's great. You know, automatically you're like, okay, I'm going to try that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah,
If my
exactly.
friend's been and says she's good,
Yeah.
whatever it is, you'll
Yeah.
go, oh, I'll try them. I
Yeah.
mean, it makes perfect sense.
The important thing is to do market research and then to continuously promote yourself, choose your routes,
Yeah.
and then maintain them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't go spending fortunes to begin with. Just pace yourself so you have this long-term budget. So, as I say, consistency is key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Something I just thought of, which I saw on social media the other day, how it was just a meme that was shared, and it said something like, it's saying the importance of supporting your friends in business.
It's so
how
important.
easy it is to support celebrities that we don't even know.
Yes.
Whereas when your friends are sharing a post on Facebook about their business, about their product, whatever it might be, give it a like, give it a say,
Totally.
well done, babe, or you look great, or
Yeah.
good for you, or whatever, things like that. Because everybody does it with people they don't know. We should be doing it a lot more with people we
Absolutely.
know and like. I mean,
Absolutely.
I think there's a
a lovely
psychological thing
point.
we can go in on that respect, because that is definitely a thing.
Yeah.
But maybe our friends could all be more supportive of each other. Let's make that contagious.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Georgina. I think it's a very nice
Thank you.
introduction to not making marketing mistakes that really you don't need to make.
Yeah.
I mean, there will be a lot of other challenges that will have, their repercussions. But this one, if you just think about it, you're off to a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Speak to an expert.
Yeah, exactly.
South Central dancing like no. Make my day. Make my day.
So yeah, it's going to speak about pedestaling people. This topic is brought up because women can lose themselves, and men, but I'm talking from a woman perspective, can lose themselves by just casting their eyes on other women and thinking that they're people watching and getting involved with groups where there's a woman that's really shining and they're glamorizing this woman and putting her on a pedestal, or even spiritual teachers thinking that they're absolutely amazing, they don't do nothing wrong, they're perfection. So I thought I'd bring this topic up today because in my circles off screen, I've noticed this amongst women, and I've done it myself, where I've thought this person's like the bomb and I need to up my game because they're this, or even like gurus where you're thinking they don't have any problems in their life, they've got no struggles. Here am I again trying to be perfection. So yeah, that's what I thought to bring today.
It's curious because I think that comparison is one of the unhealthiest things, because we have no idea, as you say, what it's like behind closed doors. And we all project an image of some sort when we're out in the world, don't we?
Yeah.
So it's very easy to think someone has it so easy. And we often like envy or admire the easy without realizing what it actually takes to get there.
The processes
sure.
that are involved. I think it's, as you say, like there's always another story behind every single person, isn't it? Like behind the closed doors and stuff. Like everyone has their struggles, everyone goes through things that are difficult. But I think you're right though, Holly, like it is true. Like it must be quite hard as well for a guru or someone, because it is true, everyone does kind of put them on that pedestal to kind of, I guess, to show any flaws as such. It must be quite difficult.
They are people at the end of the day, and everything can crash around them just at the same as everybody else. But yes, it is quite common to see someone and think, oh yeah, everything is, they have the perfect world and I want to have that perfect world like them. But
But what I've noticed, like with the spiritual teachers or any influencer that I'm around, I like to see their flaws. I like them to be real. And those people that have the best, the most influence, the best influence as well, are the ones that are real and say, I have this going on and I have this and I got through it. And they're not actually bringing their baggage. That's why it looks like they are coping so well, because they are not dumping on everyone around them. I've got this problem, blah, blah, blah. They usually deal with it and bring themselves whole or cleansed or released to a situation. So you're seeing the finished article most of the time. So yeah, it's important to be real and to show people your true colours, that you have your ups and downs, and also to keep that in mind when you are scrolling on Facebook or Instagram, that you've seen this amazing image but they've got family problems, someone could be dying in their family. Keep it real all the time. And something else I wanted to bring was quite often in when we're learning about spirituality, for example, with coaching that I'm involved in, we talk about the higher self and we talk about the inner world, but they are the same thing. And through my own practices, I've realized that inside of us is that where the power is, rather than up here. God is up here, but each of us have this like innate power. And when we're focused on that and we give ourselves more attention here and understand ourselves and what we'd love to bring out, and also there's natural things that we are good at. When we're doing that and using intention to bring that through, that's when we're shining, and that's what people are going, wow, how did they do that? But it's just natural to them. So we do have a lot of inner power to plug into and bring through.
We do tend to give our power away, don't we? Look to others to validate us, or to make us, it's sort of looking outside ourselves. And I think it's that inner power.
Yeah.
And also I wanted to say that quite often we give our power away by just like speaking so much as well. I spent like 3 days away in I just wanted to be away from everybody and just staying quiet for like 3 days. It was just so nice to bring everything back into perspective and just be, because we're so busy with so many things that we do, and so it's kind of important to as you said, nourish the inner world to then you can shine out.
Yeah. Because when we're
definitely.
spending so much time looking around, when we're outwardly referenced, we're inwardly lost. And that's when we start to feel a bit like, oh my gosh, like what's on Facebook? And then we're even worse because we're looking and comparing, because that's not a joy. It's like it can take our energy more.
Yeah.
But when we're inwardly referenced, like you said, we're inwardly focused, we're outwardly influential, because we are checking ourselves out. We're going, oh yeah, I do feel strong. I do feel like I know what I'm doing today. I've got a plan. I'm intentional with my day. I want to do this with my family. I want to be this mum for my boys. I want to be this at school. I'm going to actually speak to people in the schoolyard today. And that's when we can bring ourselves whole to the situation, because we are actually wholeness inside. There's nothing missing here. When we're looking out here, we're thinking, I've not actually got my outfit on. I don't look good enough. I'm not spiritual enough. I'm not business enough.
I think it's what we're being fed continuously.
It can be so hard though, can't it? I think, like you say, because now everything is so much in the public eye, like with social media and everything, as you say, it is really hard, isn't it? Like there's so many different pressures, but I think like what you've done, how sometimes you do just need to disconnect in order to connect again, is actually the most powerful thing, because as you say, like you are your own superpower. Like you're the one that can make those decisions and control anything, can take you to like the next level. So as you say, it is super strong.
Yeah.
But I'm also guilty of like posting all pretty things or nice things, because it's not something that you think of posting like something really ugly on online. So yeah, it's
Actually, it's funny, the different social medias, like Facebook and Instagram, are very much the pretty picture, and yet TikTok's very much the reality.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I like about that people aren't setting the scene, they're not posing, they're literally just sitting there in their kitchen or at their desk. There's none of this preparation. Obviously a lot of other things as well on it. I mean, everything is, you have to take it in its, for what it's there for.
Yeah.
Although people say 10 minutes on TikTok and 6 hours later.
Yeah.
It's so easy though, isn't it? Like you say, to just get so like distracted and stuff by things. But I think you're right. I think TikTok does maybe show the more kind of realness of something sometimes, of like the day to day of like what people are actually doing in comparison of
As
like,
opposed
oh, this
to
is a pretty
selling
photo.
Concept.
Yeah.
But all of the social media is that. It's social media. And we need to be within ourselves. It's very difficult, because even like the publicity and advertising is very much pushing that you need to look like that person, or you need to be fit like this one, or you need to drive a car like that one. So it's a very comparative world we live in.
Yeah, but go for what you love again, isn't it? Everybody's in their heart has got something personal to them on it. So I could be inspired by your car, but my car is not the same. So we go for what we love, and that will actually give us more joy and stop this comparison. So we each have a different path, completely different, but we can all come together and celebrate one another, bring that cheerleading quality through, the joy, and that also having gratitude for everyone's different
Definitely.
good things that are happening for them.
Exactly. We're
Yeah.
each barcoded differently. We have individual fingerprints, which means we're meant to be individuals.
Yeah.
And
Not
not
meant to be
perfect.
herded.
Yeah.
Exactly. Be yourself.
Love that.
This segment is sponsored by Exprom Lenses and Contact Lenses. Linear Director has come up with a squatter policy for just €24 a year. You don't have to have your home insurance with them. This is a completely separate matter to protect you from squatters. For more information, call 952 147834 or their website, lineardirector.com.
Make my day. Make my day.
Okay, so this morning I wanted to speak about returning to exercise after having an illness. And the reason why I say that is because I've had a flu all week, and I was thinking to myself, a lot of women especially, when we have an illness or a disease, we always want to get straight back into the routine, but actually that's probably the worst thing that we can do for our body and for our mind, because when we're sick and we're not well, basically we need time for our immune system to get healthier, for our nervous system to recalibrate, for our muscles to get over the inflammation. So I would just recommend people to, if you're sick, I mean, I know, Linda, you hurt your foot, didn't you? You broke your foot.
I broke my foot.
Yes.
I broke 2 metatarsals. And for 6 weeks, I was not able to walk, and I was in like a boot and with crutches. And I was amazed, like when I took everything off, I couldn't walk. I had to relearn to walk. It was like nothing was working. Even the other side, going up and down steps. I mean, I was like, having to like lift my leg up to go up the steps. No, I mean,
in just 6 weeks.
The muscles, how they just go.
The muscles forget, and well, actually, muscles don't forget. Muscles remember things, but we have to be super, super careful with how we get back to things and not jump. So there's a saying: just don't go back into sweat. Just go back into resetting. Like take your time. Maybe do something slower, like bring your dog for a walk on the beach. Do a bit of yoga. Don't get straight back into the gym and start pumping heavy weights, because even when you sweat, you're pushing everything out of your system again, where really you just want to take it more easy. And especially when you've been ill, whether it's a flu or whether it's something happening to your body, all your systems are down. So your muscular system, your lymphatic system, your heart, your lungs, all your organs are just trying to get themselves back into a healthy way. So the best thing to do is like with your child. You want your child to be, you always say, take things easy, take things slowly. So just to really be kind to yourself after being sick, not to go straight back in on Monday morning and start doing it, but to slowly come into things in a way that feels comfortable for your body.
Very wise advice, because I think a lot of people also, when the minute they start feeling better, then they get straight back into it. And that's isn't it? It's like when you start feeling better, just give it a bit more time so you can really
100%.
Get better.
Even if it's another 1 or 2 or 3 days, because you think, oh, I'm better, you automatically want to jump back in. But if you give yourself those couple of extra days just to get the whole balance to recalibrate, it makes more sense. And then you can come back with real strength, because if you go back too soon, it can actually be more of a setback than a progress. So definitely take your time getting back. You're welcome.
Hello and good morning, Spain. Today we're going to be making gazpacho de higo, fig carpaccio. This is super easy but super delicious. A couple of little tricks which are really nice to know, but it's going to be one of those ones you can prepare beforehand, and it's just a beautiful starter, also fantastic tapper. So we're going to get straight into this. There's no cooking involved, it's all cold, which makes things so much quicker. So I've got some lovely figs here. I just want to peel them, so I'm just going to top and tail, and then I'm just going to follow the white line all the way around. So I'm aiming the first cut, and then I know where I am. So I'm just going to peel all the way around. Don't worry if there's a little bit of white left on it, but we want to get as close to the red as possible without losing any. So let's peel a couple of these. We're only going to need about 3 or 4 for a starter for one person. So just take your time with this. I can do a little bit quicker than you, but let's just concentrate on keeping that nice and thin as you can, not wasting any of these beautiful figs. Again, don't worry if there's any white bits. You can just eat these whole, but just for this dish, it makes it look so much more impressive. One more here. Now, that's the hard work done. The rest, super easy. So we're going to cut these figs in half and lay them on the plate. Give them each one a little bit of space. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, because the magic's a way to happen now. turn our board over. Take your plate and some cling film. I'm just going to go pass it over the top of the plate. Push down, grab yourself a nice glass or something that's flat, and just squeeze each half till it's nice and flat. You're going to see how easy this is when you do this at home. You'll think, oh, this is such a good way to eat figs, and it looks stunning on the plate. Really impressive if you're having people around for dinner. And some really simple ingredients. Now, nice and flat, you can see. Just take away my cling film nice and carefully. And we're left with this beautiful fig that's just been pressed. Hard work's done now. All we're going to do is the little garnishy bits. So I've got some feta cheese, which I'm just going to crumble over a little bit. That's going to add some lovely saltiness. If you don't like feta, maybe some goat's cheese. Bit of rocket. Mostly just for colour and some height, but again, it's going to provide that pepperiness. All with carpaccio, we're looking for layers. Always think with something you want to keep eating it and always find something new. With the serrano ham, I'm just going to put some curls of that around here. Again, providing that lovely saltiness and just a bit of different texture. Already starting to look very pretty, the plate. Some sun-dried tomatoes, just going to pick again. Spread them around. Some toasted pine nuts. Freshly chopped chives. Oh, a couple of cherry tomatoes, fresh as well. Again, just adding different texture to the dish. So when people eat it, and it makes it look incredible. A couple of radishes. Again, just scarcely around. It's going to add that lovely pepperness to the dish. Now, most important of all, we've got to season this. So, a bit of zest of lemon. Just slice that. A little squeeze of that too. Bit of olive oil. Bit of pepper. And we could go with a little bit of balsamic. Again, mostly just for colour, and that vinegar will just help break everything up. Now this is my fig carpaccio. Thank you very much and good morning. Now I think we can all agree that this looks fantastic, but does it taste fantastic? That's the most important thing. So let's get right into this. I mean, it looks stunning. If you got served this in a restaurant, you'd be happy. So saw how easy to do and how much time that took. If you don't like figs, this could be the dish to turn you. All those little bits going on top just really make it. That feta, serrano ham, the cherry tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes. That is something special. Thank you very much and good morning.
We often talk about education in Spain and how different it is to back in the UK. Most people move here and think, great, free school, let's put the kids in, they learn Spanish. Wonderful, but there is more to it than that, isn't there, Georgina?
There really is, Nicole. I'm afraid it's not so simple, people. I wish it was. There are wonderful schools here. Let's just get that straight. And there is that, especially when your kids are young. Primary school, infant school, learn the language, integrate, brill. things start getting a little bit more complicated as they get older. And the cultural identity part and the questioning and worldview starts to come into play. And that, I think, is something that where then you have to think, do I have the means to move to an international school? Or can my kid, in his own or his or her own way, cope with the system?
But it's something I don't think we even think about, because you move and you just assume education is education, school is school. And I remember when Georgina and I met years and years ago, and your little boy was a baby.
Yep.
And I remember saying, oh, be careful, once I get to secondary school, kind of the thing changes. He's so happy. Then he got into primary school, but he's so happy. And then one day I was like, yeah, I'm looking for private schools because this isn't working.
Suddenly, oh, he's not so happy.
And private schools are expensive.
Very expensive.
But it's something I think you need to plan for.
Yes.
So if you're moving to Spain and you think, okay, I'm going to put the kids in public school, really, if you want a free thinking child, which is one of them, creative child, there are like even art at school in Spain is basically geometry. You know, they're using protractors and compasses. They're not free expressing. So any free expression, creativity, drama, any of these things, you need to get in a team spirit. That's another one, because they don't promote that in the Spanish school. It's the opposite. So it comes to a point where I think you have to think, if you're moving here, yes, I'm going to just accept that whatever will be, or plan that you need to budget for private school.
Exactly. So I think just to explain to the viewers of kind of the difference and what is very fundamental to the Spanish system is rote learning. You are delivered the message and you must internalize it and regurgitate it.
And spit it back out.
No
exactly
opinion.
as it is.
Right.
No
Even
opinion.
the words.
No free thinking.
No, not your opinion of it.
Wow.
Not your take on it. The fact, and that alone. Now, I think at primary, often that's okay, because within our own families, we're probably having
At home,
discussions at home, so we're used to that. But as that subjects get more complex, and you want to actually have a conversation, don't you? Well, is this historical moment in time? What does it mean about today? There's no room for that in the Spanish system.
And they are all powerful. So if for example, my children speaking English, if one of the Spanish teachers in the English lesson made a mistake, my daughter would perhaps quietly on the side say, excuse me, miss, this doesn't make sense. My son would in the middle of the class say, this doesn't make sense. So you've now ridiculed the teacher. You're now like it can be very complicated.
Yes, it can.
It can be very complicated.
And not to say, I do have to say, you know, we live here, we love living here, we love the culture that we're in. And I do think that children of international families that go to primary school in Spain are at a huge advantage, because they're bilingual, but also culturally attuned to the place where they live. So I definitely don't want this to be any sort of slagging, and there's lots of people that do incredibly well in the Spanish system. If you're very scholarly, you're very academic, you've got a good memory, you don't get stressed about exams, you're happy to be tested and marked, and you thrive in that environment,
You fly.
you'll fly. You will absolutely fly. But if you've got a few additional needs maybe, or you've got a bit of a, let's say, argumentative personality.
If you have too many opinions,
Yes, you're going to suffer. And they can make you repeat a year in Spain. They can make you repeat. So it's not just if you haven't reached the academic level, but if, for example, that they don't like you, they will find a way to show their power and make you repeat. And this then gives that you may have a 13-year-old boy in class with a 12-year-old kid. They have no alternative but to be cool,
And that clash
to
of
have an attitude. They have to make a personality.
The clash.
The amount of problems, and as I've worked separately with children with learning problems, I've spoken to over 5,000 families. This is an issue. If you have a child that has an opinion, is creative, anything outside of just regurgitate what they've been told, you're going to have
And
an
then
issue.
you have to be with that teacher again for another year with that clash of personality. So how are you meant to get through that? It's kind of quite shaming yourself.
I
isn't
don't
it?
really want to say anything negative, because it's just the way. But the Spanish education system is not to create individuals, it is to foment you're doing as you're told.
Yes.
Robots.
Homogenous.
Yes,
right?
homogenous.
Right.
Don't stand out. Don't think that you're above anyone else. They want to keep everybody the same, and then you will go out and just work and do as you're told. So they're not looking to create entrepreneurs and
Free
free-thinking
thinkers.
people. It's just not the culture. Even though it's quite a few years since Franco hasn't been here, much hasn't changed in the infrastructure,
Right.
and particularly not in the educational system.
And I would say as well, when we're talking about planning, financial planning to whether we're going to put our children into international schools, but there's also an aspect of planning before your move. If you're bringing children, especially older children, so anywhere near 9, 10 plus, you as a parent must support them to come there with some Spanish.
Sure.
And you must support them with
Because
the
you're throwing them in at the
homework.
deep end,
Oh,
aren't you? I
and
mean,
they
it's
fail,
difficult, of
and
course.
it's not their fault.
And in a Spanish school, they will pay the price.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, hope this helps. Linear Director appreciates just how important our pets are to us, and that's why they brought out one of the most comprehensive insurance policies on the market from just €39.90 a year. Give them a call on 952 147834 or from the website lineardirector.com.
Make my day. Make my day.
This week, I thought I would talk about Dracula, a gothic horror novel published by Irish author Bram Stoker that came out in 1897. Possible inspirations for the character was a real person called Vlad the Impaler, who was regarded a bit of a hero in Romania due to his opposition to the Ottoman Empire. After publication of the book, some people praised its terrifying atmosphere, while others thought it included too much horror and was a bit scary. It was banned in various places around the world. But Dracula is one of the most famous works of English literature and has been called the centerpiece of vampire fiction. The novel has been adapted many times with over 700 appearances across virtually all forms of media, and the Guinness Book of World Records named Dracula the most portrayed literary character. I'm talking about this because I've just come back from Bucharest in Romania, and we visited Bran Castle, which is also known as Dracula's Castle in Transylvania. It's in the Carpathian Mountains, which is absolutely beautiful. And it was kind of in this area because there was the first Romanian royal family the king was actually German, and he built his castle, Peleș Castle, which is very close to Bran Castle, in the Carpathian Mountains because it reminded him of the Black Forest in Germany. So the area is very similar with all the trees. But I have to say, we were a bit disappointed when we visited Bran Castle itself. And in doing research for this topic today, I kind of found out why. So the castle, Bran Castle, is marketed outside of Romania as Dracula's Castle. It's presented as the home of the character in Bram Stoker's Dracula. But there's actually no evidence that Bram Stoker knew anything about this castle, which has only mild associations with Vlad the Impaler. The castle is actually now a museum dedicated to displaying art and furniture collected by Queen Marie, who was the last queen of Romania until 1927. She was the wife of King Ferdinand I. So I have to say, when we went to this Bran Castle, we were expecting it to be a bit spooky and references to Dracula and ooh, as you go around the room. And we were walking around the castle and you'd look in a room and go, there's a bed. And then you'd look in the next room, there's a chest of drawers. And we were like, okay, is that it? It was really quite disappointing, whereas Peleș Castle, which we saw before, was absolutely stunning. And we learned so much more about the Romanian history and the royal family and things like that. But there wasn't much spookiness connected to the castle itself.
Well, I just had a history lesson that I didn't know I needed. You know, you think you know things, but hearing those aspects of it, and I didn't know Transylvania was in Romania.
Yeah, well, funnily enough,
for example.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, Transylvania used to be a separate country. So my husband posted a video of our experience at Bran Castle on TikTok, saying about Transylvania and Romania, and somebody commented a really unhappy message: Transylvania isn't in Romania, rah, rah, rah. And we were like, oh, interesting. And we were wondering whether it was either similar to Ireland and Northern
Yes, that's
Ireland,
what I was thinking.
or maybe more Catalonia, Spain.
Yes.
So yeah,
Separatists.
Is belonging to, but we don't accept it.
Yes,
so
yes.
it absolutely is part of Romania, but it didn't used to be.
Yes.
So there are still people that feel that it's separate from Romania, which is also interesting.
It's funny
Fascinating
how passionate we get
backstory.
about our places.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Curious, isn't it?
Yeah.
How it
for
defines
sure.
us
Yeah.
of where our borders are drawn, which
Yeah.
often is really just someone literally drawing a line on a map for
I've
us.
lived here
often.
for over 40 years, probably longer now. And like, how many people ask me why I haven't taken Spanish nationality? And yet it's never even occurred to me. I'm English.
Yeah,
And I feel
absolutely.
English and I drink my tea. And although I speak fluent Spanish and I live a very Spanish life, but curious, I have this identity.
Yep.
And I'm not offended, but it's like I don't understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Why would I?
Yeah.
And yet now I'm thinking, well, maybe I should. You know, like maybe that would make sense as I've lived here for most of my life or what have you.
I became Spanish.
Yeah, did you? Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I wanted to have the citizenship and
Amazing.
really the passport for Europe. So I did all the exams and all the rest of it. And
brilliant.
I
Were they
do live a
difficult, the
Spanish
exams, or
life.
did you really know it all? Or
Sorry?
did you have to study for the exams?
I looked at it and then there was like this much to learn. I was like, forget it. and then I thought, well, I'll go for the exam. I'll see how I get through. And it was easy enough. It was multi-choice. So yeah, and it was asking me, about tortilla, simple things like that. So it was quite,
Well, they have suggested now that people coming to live here have to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
So those of us who are already here, who don't speak Spanish, we're well ahead of the game.
yeah.
Something I have to say, going back to books and Romania, I was really, really happy to see how many different types of bookstores, bookshops and libraries there were in
good.
Bucharest compared to where we might see in other places. Certainly in the UK, they're talking about the lack of libraries. More and more libraries are closing down and more children are growing up without ever having visited a library,
Oh, those
Such
which
little
a
is
book
really
shame.
sad.
spaces to sit
Yeah.
there and you get your book and
Yeah.
you sit down and
Yeah, and just bookshops as
Yeah.
well, where you can sit and read.
We
yeah.
saw some beautiful, really big libraries in grand buildings, and the things that you'd like to see
Yeah.
in London, typically in a big city, I guess. Really, really beautiful. Some smaller bookshops, independent bookshops. They weren't chains, and also some kind of what we would call kiosks in Spain by the side of the road, little wooden huts that sold sweets and things like we would see in Spain, but also had like a section of magazines and also books
books. Oh,
out the
that's
front,
good.
which I
we
thought
used to
was
have more of that
interesting.
in Spain.
Really?
When I first moved here, the kiosks everywhere had
sell
books,
books.
Oh,
and lots
wow.
of those collectible, like every month or weeklies that come with things. There was a lot
Yeah.
of
You do
books
like a
and
book
people-
fair
books, and there's still a lot of book
don't
fairs.
they? Yes.
And very like emblematic. So like in Barcelona, they do the Day of the Rose and the
Yes.
book fairs.
Yeah.
And I mean, lots of places do book fairs. So it's still very much
Yeah.
Yeah.
far more so than say the UK.
Yes,
at
for
this
sure.
time.
But I can't tell, well, I will tell you, I can't tell you how happy I was to arrive back in Spain.
Oh, really?
Honestly, there's a song by Frank Sinatra where he sings how nice it is to go traveling, but it's so much nicer to come home.
Yeah.
And I don't think everybody feels like that about going home to other parts of the world.
Yes.
But I think for the most part, we are very lucky
we're
where we
so
live.
lucky.
The weather most of the time is really nice, and you don't expect the weather to be really nice everywhere, particularly this time of year. We did experience a lot of rain. It was cold. We had to leave sunny Spain and pack jeans and hoodies and jumpers and coats, which was very weird in itself. And then landing back in Spain where the sky's blue and the people are brown.
Yes.
It's like, I'm home. I love where I live. I love my house. I love my job and all the people I work with and my friends and family. And
how nice.
I'm
Don't worry, darling, you're
happy.
home.
So
I'm so
nice.
happy to be
Yes,
home.
you're back.
Honestly,
I think when you do come back from holiday and you love to be home, it was a real testament to the life you've built and the place you've chosen.
Yes.
In the case of us lot having moved here and chosen
Yes, it's not
that.
luck. We made the
chose
effort.
it,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's
And
made
worth
it
the
work.
struggles
Exactly.
that
Yes.
we all face.
Yeah.
To be able to say, yes, this is my home. I'm glad I've chosen it and work to stay here.
And those who haven't been able to make that change, don't worry. Just keep joining us.
Yes.
We'll include you. So you feel like you're with us to get to see some sunshine, do a bit
Absolutely.
of travelling.
And happy brown people.
Yes,
Exactly. We hope you found the program informative and fun. Do check out our website, goodmorningspain.com, for links to repeats of the program, articles following up on topics discussed, and so much more. Like, share and follow us on social media and YouTube, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care. Bye for now. Bye.